Alright, what we're going to do here is I'm trying to do an explanation of resonance. I watched some of the video I got from other people saying me about resonance, and it makes absolute perfect sense. Matter of fact, we will put in this video a clip of a company who makes growing light 1,000-watt bulb. That's the size of the bulb, and it's not connected to anything. They call that a fluorescent bulb, which is just two little tungsten rod not touching to each other inside of a little vacuum tube with some gas in it. So now I'm going to show you how the resonance goes through. They have the little bulb glued to a ceramic disc, which is RF signal going into the outside of this, make the disc resonate, and the little light bulb will light up. So I'm going to show you a little bit about what resonance is, because that's apparently that's what we're making with this thing. So I'm going to turn that on, which I have the three spark gap going on, so I'm multiplying my resonance. Our resonance so far is very close to 1 megahertz, which is like extremely high for a mechanical device, but because each spark adds resonance to the line. Now, we thought it was radiation, but it's not radiation. It's literally resonance this little bulb is picking up. Because those is for testing, and the instrument, a little instrument, cheap instrument for testing if you have current into your line. And all it does is no touching, it's just pick up the resonance of your current, very low resonance on your current on your 120. So we're picking up resonance from the spark. We're picking up resonance from plasma. As you can see, I'm going to bring the plasma to my hand. Right? Now, the plasma doesn't go in my body. The plasma gets converted to resonance. Resonance goes into my body, and I will show you later on how I can move the resonance to my body and light up light bulb. Now, I got an old stove surface which is made of ceramic and a tungsten spring for an element. It's a 120 volt element, right? Well, of course, the wire have resonance, right? It's fairly strong. But look here, when I go into just the ceramic, it does move resonance. Now, this ceramic is made for heat, to hold heat so it doesn't transfer the heat and burn the bottom of the stove. So it's a different ceramic, but I got another insulator here, which is a voltage insulator for a Mongo for 1,000-watt bulb. And look what is going on, how strong the resonance on the ceramic is. Now, if I go on the bulb, my resonance is way lower. You can tell the bulb is not as red as if I go here. And something kind of neat. So now I'm going to show you how I will make this fluorescent bulb light up, and I'm going to use the guy who's behind the camera as the end of the line. So I'm going to hold the end of the bulb, and I'm going to bring resonance through my body through plasma. Okay, now he grabbed the other end, he became the neutral, and the fluorescent light up. And that's all by resonance. As you can see, he only follows his hand. You can touch the end, you're not going to get a shot. Touch the end. There you go. Now we get a full contact, right? And now you can also bring it up here. Resonance, light up the gas. Now, even if I touch it, it makes the light stronger because I'm pushing more resonance into the tube. But you can tell how much resonance I'm getting into my body. That's inside my hand and stuff, and all that little lightning. So resonance is the one who moves everything, because she's the one who actually creates what we call voltage into a wire. So we're gonna shut that down, and we're gonna reset, and then we're gonna go with the light on with the other camera to be able to pick up the other demonstration. Like, I want to talk to you about other stuff, so I'll catch you later. We're losing time. on this shot here, I've been always bombarded about over unity, why this thing's not loop up. And it was not my plan to loop this machine up, but it is over unity. And a lot of people say, oh, you don't have gauge and this and this and that. I get analog everything. Everything is analog because analog works more definite than digital. So I'm just going to run the machine just roughly, and it's going to be on the load. It's going to be going through the plasma bulb, the 3-spark gap, the bulb, and the transmitting plate. So what we'll see exactly is 120 volt going into this box here, and you will see the draw that the motor is using to turn the generator to be able to run all that. So here we go. I'll turn it on. Now we know the voltage I'm putting out on the load, which I'm still, maintaining about 150 volts, and I'm producing 200 milliamps to run this whole thing up. So that's mean I'm on the load, and I'm using out of the wall 200 milliamp, and I think sometime less because the needle barely moves, and I'm still only putting 120 volt in it. Now over unity, that's mean you're putting more than what you're getting more than what you're putting, right? So I'm putting 200 milliamp at 120 volts. I'm running this whole circuit on the load, and I'm making almost 150 volt left, which I'm maintaining on 150 volt at 200 milliamp. So I'm over unity there. I don't care how you don't like to believe it, but I get more volts. I'm running everything up, and if I want to load up the unit, which I'm going to do right here, directly before the spark gap, I'm producing a massive amount of plasma, lighting up those bulbs. I can feel the plasma getting transferred through the glass by resonance into my body. And I didn't change, those needles didn't move.
Step on the other side when you do that.
Alright, let's load it up. And I want you guys to watch the needle. I put extra load, and I'm going to the plasma at the same time. And I'm still not drawing out of the wall anything more than what he draws when he runs an idle. So I'm over unity by, let's say, almost 30 volts on the load. So that's over unity, my friend. I don't care how you cut it, how you calculate it. I'm producing more on the load than the one I'm putting in. So this is one of the shots I want to make sure you guys have. Alright, I'm back. So we just reset and get some parts I want you to show it. That's one of my kind of little mystery, because I've been buying those bombs, the shot, right? They normally go to the garbage, but I'm buying it, the guy's holding it for me, and I gave him a few bucks to see, and study that. And some work, some don't work. And I find out when they don't work is because the electronic board goes on the back of it, because they're a smart motor. They have a computer literally run this little motor here. So I thought the board was shot, and I said, okay, well, I pulled the board anyway, because I'm just using the coil and the iron and the magnet. So at that point in time I said, well, what the heck, I'm getting motor who have very little power, and some I cannot make turn whatsoever, and I change good coil with bad coil and makes no difference. Suddenly I just was playing with it the other day, and I realized something is a good working motor, right, have a wonderful resonance. Now, a motor who doesn't run like half to almost only a quarter, I find out is barely no resonance. Now the one who doesn't work at all, and the board is good because I use the board to do another motor and they run just perfectly, have no resonance. Absolutely none. And that's the only thing I find different between all the motor. Now, we think when we have the magnet, which is, this is the magnet here. A lot of people, most people know, and it runs between this here and spin north, south, then you flip flop. We think we create a field goes like this. I don't believe so. I mean, yes, if you do turning really slow, you will change the polarity back and forth in the iron because it's going to the magnet. But I don't think that's what is really happening to create electricity into this coil here. Because electricity in a coil, when we get voltage, we call it electricity. You know, I still doesn't like the word electricity, but let's use that for example. Only happen when the iron resonate. What would be more intelligent to say the resonance is the one who convert, when you hit a wire, convert to volts? Because you have to understand other electrical wire, like you know that transformer wire, the coated wire, is copper or aluminum. Well, copper is a crystal, believe it or not, and aluminum is also a crystal. So can it be possible for the crystal to resonate, to pick up the resonance, and convert that to voltage, as we know? I think that's exactly the flux transfer and all that crap transfer they're talking about. As far as I'm concerned, it's crap. It's only resonance. You move resonance close to a coil wire, a copper wire, you can get volts out of it. You stick a little puff of copper wire up in the air. I was getting a 1.3 volt AC 24/7 for over a year. So I think resonance is the one who's making the voltage in the wire, and that's why, you know, I heard a lot of time the big power line, they have to download the voltage because it increases as the line, you know, because you get a 300 and some mile line, and if you're not using all that, if you have a backup, it increases to a point and you're going to blow the transformer. So they have to download, bring the voltage down because it's getting too high. So to me, it's more likely a resonance. The resonance it gets too high. Same thing in a pole transformer. We all know in our pole transformer, the power goes through the pole transformer and right back into to your neutral line, and it goes like this. But if you do not connect, and I just talked to alignment, if you do not connect the neutral line to the transformer from the pole line, the neutral one, to the transformer, and you energize this transformer, the top will blow off. You see, they have that happen by itself, and many times other people, they forgot to connect the neutral. And at this time, apparently, the top of a 500 kilowatt transformer is still orbiting around this planet. It never came down, as a joke. They're still looking for it. But I believe resonance is the one who's doing all that, because when you really think about it, it'll affect everything around you. It makes everything, color is a resonance. Sound is a resonance with an harmonic tied to it, because we can hear it. Without the harmonic, you can't hear resonance. It goes through you. It's there. We're walking, we're swimming into it, and you can hear it. So when you put an harmonic into it, oh, the human ear can hear it, because we balance we're putting a balance into it. Someone who knows about tuning a piano would probably explain that better than I can, because they understand harmonics and the balance of tone, which I don't. I'm not a musician. But definitely, I know why those motor was not working. And the only thing was missing on it, it was the resonance. The material will not resonate. So when the magnet spin between like this, but it's not tied up to the bar, all it does, because you have a magnet, you collapse this horseshoe probably a nano of an inch, and then when the magnet flip and they're both parallel, it neutralizes it and open a nano of an inch. And you do that really fast. You're moving those two ends really fast in and out. What do you have? Resonance. That fork is going to start ringing. And it's exactly what's happening in those little motors. But this is my explanation. I know I'm going to get a whole bunch of flack and stuff like this, but I like to put a proposition out there. If anybody with a diploma or a PhD or whatever of a certain field, if you can explain what I just did is false, I like to hear that, because I can prove everything out. I can put everything back together and prove you there's nothing wrong beside the iron not having resonance. Now, there's another thing also I find out with the system. Let me put that's over for the motor. That's the explanation. I'm not going to go any further than that. But something else I find out is very interesting. When I run this thing, and I can disconnect one leg of this here, right, and leave it there, and take a jumper cable, which I gotta go and steal. Right, I'm gonna use a jumper cable and hook it up. Now I'm gonna have my friend see if he can zoom right to where my finger is. Can you see that part? Perfect. I'm going to start the machine. Now the power comes from the transformer through the bulb through this bulb here, and into the spark gap and continue to the end of this wire, which made a solid line, except I got spark gap into it, right? Now if I was not multiplying here or amplifying, you cannot make a line spark on its own, right? And I'm going to show you that in a minute. Can you see that?
Yep.
Alright, I'm going to turn that on. Now I can take this wire and it can't spark because the voltage is equal. Okay? So I have no spark here. Now I'm going to take the end of the wire and go back to the spark gap, and you will see a very interesting phenomenon. Can you see that?
Yep.
That means my end of my wire have twice the volt was going in. To spark like that. So that means my amplification was done here in the spark gap, and also my resonance. So Tesla is magnification is literally was a jump. It was a spark gap of some kind. But also is another thing I find out is his coil, his primary, which I'm building one right now on a smaller level, a Tesla coil. Is right now that's just the secondary. The secondary coil is put on place here. Now the primary will go over the bottom. Now Tesla always have a big gap between his primary and the secondary, and I think I find out why. The reason why I believe is when the plasma leave the primary from the resonance, because when you leave the wire is in plasma form, but as it cools off, it converts itself to resonance, a very, very strong resonance. And I think the tuning he did, Tesla tuning, it was the distance between the primary and the secondary to be right on the edge at the end of the plasma where the resonance was the strongest. Because now it did the mutation, it cooled off and converted itself to resonance you don't see anymore. That's why at high voltage you see all that crackling and hissing in the light. This is the discharge of the plasma, the resonant plasma, as it cools off, and it became straight resonance. At that point, in the end of disappearing, that's where your resonance would be the strongest. And that's what Tesla, I believe, he was achieving and getting such amount of energy coming out. And he could not be literally electrocuted when he was playing with that, because on the top of his head he had some pickup point, which was the most interesting place for that guy to jump to make the big lightning show. So it was a lot of I would say Houdini work on that one, because you can manipulate where the spark could go, and the spark literally was not after you, was after directly to the place you wanted to go. That's the only communication she wanted to go. You were just a mass, you know, in a meadow full of water, because that's how our bodies is. That's why we don't feel resonance. We're full of water. 88%, I believe, of our body mass is water. So that's what we can live in a resonance world. You know, this is the explanation of why we can live in such a resonance.
What about the temperature of that the ceramic there?
Well, the temperature we're reading is most likely the thermometers is actually reading resonance, and the resonance we created is literally really cold at the point, and that's why when you have you take a temperature, with temperature is a resonance coming to you, and you have different temperature into it. And that's what this thing was telling us. And it was downlight, when you go down, you go into temperature minus 2000 degrees Celsius, it's because the resonance is, you're getting too close, the resonance is so strong, then this machine might not pick up the right thing, but it does pick up a phenomena which you cannot pick up with other instrument. Now we have a whole bunch of instruments, as I show you. They say resonance, electromagnetic field, magnetic field, electric and microwave. But I find out, again, where's my, oh, I want to show you what, again, we're going to zoom it in. So we're going to go to microwave. Can you
Here,
see
I'll
that?
let you do this part.
Okay, because then I can see it, perfect. So here we go, we have, it's sitting on a microwave, and it's nothing going on here, as you can see. No movement of the needle. Okay, so I'm going to put it electric. No moving of the needle, right? So let's put it into magnetic, right? Oh, now we got some motion, right? It's very simple. Look, if I stop moving this thing, it reads 0. But if I move, I'm making the needle move. Now you say, oh yeah, that's magnetic. Now the magnetic field, what's happening is brushing. I'm brushing this thing. That's why the needle goes like this. I'm brushing the field. And it's just like having millions of little hair brushing this box and create a resonance to make this needle work. Now, I will show you it's going to resonate because I'm going to use something else here. Now, you might want to hold that here, right? You check that out. Now I'm going to go close with a that's strictly resonance. And you see this meter move. So I think they consider magnetic field.
Let's do it without that setting.
Oh, it only work on magnetism, on the setting of magnetic, right? It doesn't work anything else with electric whatsoever.
Do you want to show it?
I can show it if you want.
Yeah, we should.
I don't think it will make a big difference, but it doesn't do that setting for electric. Okay, put it in microwave. God, that's a good ring. That one ring my ear. Back to magnetic. Now you can see exactly what is going on. Now, you know, the lie is getting just thicker and thicker when you start discovering little things like this. The motor parts is not resonating, the motor don't work. You have one who resonate a little bit, the motor work a little bit. You have one who resonate a lot, the motor work perfectly. I mean, I gotta call the duck a duck here because he'd quack, walk, and look like a duck. I have nothing other way of electronic to tell me what is going to do, what's happening here beside resonance. I got a friend who's building up a voltmeter all the way up to 50,000 volts on direct line, connected direct line, so we're going to be able to work with that because we don't really know how high your voltage is. We know our resonance, because you can calculate resonance with an antenna. We had an instrument that actually can do that, and we got close, almost hit 1 megahertz, and that's a lot when you think about resonance. And but we don't know exactly the volts. We're running into the line, so we'll be able, I believe in a couple of weeks from now, I will be able to have a meter we can hook up directly to the line and be able to read a voltage all the way up to 50,000 volts. So I don't believe I'm putting more than that. I believe I'm putting up around about 31,000 volts at the most. But that's just guessing again. But all this myth about amperage and stuff like that, amp only increase in the can because we're dumping 14,000 volts of high resonance. That's your potential, high resonance. You know, that's as close as potential I can get you. Because you have to understand, 14,000 volt on a line, if you touch it and you feed on the return line, you will have most likely your body burn crisp. Resonance will kill you on a very high volume. Same thing with water. You know, we all dry here, but you put 20 feet of water coming up from the lake over our head and it won't last very long. So it's like everything else on the right balance. But you know, the whole thing with the power pole and the BC hydro and stuff like this, we're going to put also, in this video, we're going to put some website you can go and check about. Someone discovered about recycling the power for the power company. It goes back into your return line and you get recycled and all that stuff. That should explain pretty much all that. I just want to put this video here so people have a little bit better understanding. But you have to understand, I don't think, if you remove, when you think about it and you remove the word resonance and the equation of what's going on around you, from your smartphone, your computer, your tablet, your TV, your communication, you know, transfer of data. If resonance is not an important part, then remove it from your instrument and see how your instrument works with it. It will not work. You know, as simple as that. Nothing's going to work. You have to put resonance. Why your phone, your battery is DC, have no resonance or very little resonance because it's just a resistance. You have to put a chip to create a square wave, to create resonance in your electronics, because that's what a square wave is. You're putting solid volts, and then you break it down, and you're making a wave out of it, a square wave. That would be like, you know, tapping, I don't know, your finger on a piano chord. You create resonance. To me, resonance is pretty much what makes the whole world turn, and no one wants to tell you about it, because when you find out, the military has been using it for crowd control and all kinds of stuff. They've been using it. Look at the Philadelphia experiment with Tesla, where the ship would disappear and reappear. The C-130 went back 48 years back into time. I mean, those all information is available now. You know, it's been declassified and it's all available to all that stuff. You can look at it. That was resonance. I mean, Tesla had those big generator, high frequency generator into this coil around the boat. All he did, he resonated this piece of aluminum, because the boat was made, you know, in those days, aluminum and iron. They resonate that boat like a bell, and it disappeared. It was nothing else but resonance. I mean, when you start studying or researching and all the stuff, all the event that happened, and you suddenly you think about resonance and you remove all the other stuff and you put resonance, it literally answers what's going on, how things work. I mean, a plant, they show you, we have some thing, they show a plant, all the other plant died, the one that's got a ring with the resonance grows 5 or 6 times bigger than the other plant, and it lasts 5 times longer with literally nothing. Just the resonance, it was feeding the plant.
It grows faster too.
Yeah, it grows faster. I mean, like, you know, they even did tests on babies. You know, the babies was developing way faster. So I mean, like, you know, and that's all documented stuff. You know, cancer and stuff like this. They were rebuilding tissues with resonance. And it's all information is accessible. You know, if you dig really hard. But we do have some website we can put it in there for you guys to look. You know, by your own. It's filed. They don't have video of that, but they just file in picture and what was happening. And 2 picture, you look at it and say, wow, that's different, right? So I mean, like, you know, and it'd be suppressed for the longest time because they know if you understand resonance, you can rule the world. And that's what they've been doing. They've been ruling the world because that big magic thing, how to manipulate resonance. By manipulate resonance, you have anti-gravities, non-restriction of resistance in our world. That means you can go really fast with very little power. If you resonate in the front of a moving object, you're moving all the electrons, all resistance out of front of him. So he's moving, literally moving in his own little bubble. You can make things levitated in resonance, and we know that from some tests done in lab with a tinfoil and inducing an extreme amount of resonance, the tinfoil start to levitate. So I mean, I'm not making this up. You know, you can look it up. I'm just going to what everybody's doing and testing, and what I'm testing and what I'm finding right now, and all the stuff. First thing, I don't want to hear about anything about this machine. Your unity is not happening. It's there, right? It can be looped. I've been told it can be looped many times. People, when they want to loop it, they can loop it. Right now, I just want to find out what's going on in here. Looping it is at least my word right now, because that's just another gadget. Looping it. If you understand what is coming out and what the effect you can do with it, and manipulation of what is coming out, you can turn your little world upside down, because suddenly you know where the power comes from and you know how to tap into it. It can be tapped by an antenna, a mechanical force, whatever you want. It can be tapped. All you have to do, you can tap to the natural resonance, or you can tap into the artificial resonance, which is mechanical. But everybody's using the solar panel. They're using the solar panel a wrong way. They should have a solar panel, but not, I would say, a resonant panel to capture the resonance from the sun, not from the heat part of the sun, because the heat part of the sun is on a losing leg, is cooling off. The resonance, in the meantime, is cold, and it will expand as it's heating up. That's what the multiplication happened with resonance. And also, you know, the big discussion, I put someone in checkmate the other day in a restaurant. We were talking about this, saying, you know, how cold space is, right, and how hot the sun is. Well, I mean, like, you know, you can't suck and blow at the same time. What is it? Hot or cold? If the space is so bloody hot, or the sun is so bloody hot, how come space is so cold? Like, really? Like, you know, we have piece of video directly from our lab, a space lab, and those guys, their sun is there, they're not burning. I mean, 50,000 Kelvin. That's what they think that the sun, the temperature, the surface of the sun is. We don't have any material in this planet who would not vaporize at 1,000 of that temperature. It's so stupid to say the sun is hot when you say the space is cold. I want someone to explain that. I want some cartoonist to explain that to me, because if you come up with an explanation on that one, you have to be a cartoonist. You have to make up this stuff. You know, it gets to a point, it's getting to the ridiculous point. But anyway, I mean, that's just common old-fashioned logic, which people are lacking today in school, have none of them.
So where are you going with everything for the future here?
What I'm doing here, I'm going to keep on testing and see if I can manipulate this resonance as much as possible. Matter of fact, we rewiring those type of transformer to see if we can increase the resonance. And I'm starting to believe you can actually power a house with this tiny little thing, because when you create, it's very easy to create resonance. I mean, we might have to change the pump to go to a multi-magnet pump, which I'm already working on that. I can use the same pump and put multi-magnet. That means add two smaller string magnets instead of a big fat one split in half, so we can increase our resonance, because apparently that's what Tesla was doing. He was making generator, always increasing his resonance to the maximum he was capable, and that's what he was capable of doing of a lot of his tests, and be able to push out of the system. Now Tesla was, is we all know in 1887 he sold the delivery, manufacture and delivery of AC current to Westinghouse. That was it. We never heard anything after that of AC currents, right? I mean, the word of Tesla pretty much disappeared after that. He moved to Warden, not Warden Cliff, but Colorado Spring. Had a couple experiments there. Had his lab burned in New York, and after that he disappeared. Then you have the Philadelphia experiment. We don't hear nothing about it. We have shortly after Tesla died, we have nuclear bomb in Hiroshima, right? I mean, those are all very understanding effect if you think about resonance. Same thing with the nuclear bomb. Why a nuclear bomb is so powerful? What's the resonance it creates? Because the bang is so bloody big, it creates a massive amount of resonance. And it's a resonance who actually spreads out and comes back. Because you have your wave, and that wave reach to a certain limit, and then it's called back because it created such a vacuum when it goes up. So it comes back and claps. And of course it gets radiated not because of the resonance, but the material the bomb was carrying to make this big bang. That's all it's all about.
So a lot of people, they really want to know where exactly you're at, because when you show these things on the videos, you're trying to spark the mind of the people, but you've moved a lot past that in other places in the world. Like you're developing multiple projects, but like, why aren't you sharing all of that? There's reasons why you're not sharing those things.
Well, there's a reason. I mean, like, it's always, research and further thing, putting the first one together and stuff like this, which, my project in Australia has been put on hold literally to a dead stop, because I think something happened and one of the group there I was working with. So, but I mean, I'm here. I'm doing a massive amount of tests, and then redoing the tests I was doing in the beginning, and watching it to a different angle, because now I'm not in this position anymore. I did many 360 degrees around this unit, and then I come up to understanding it's literally strictly resonance I'm playing with. And same thing when people experience to be on the pad, they're charging up, because I'm resonating you into a different resonance than your natural resonance. So I'm actually waking up and recharging up in your millivolt. A person goes on a chair with on the pad, let's say I test the person, she's only putting up maybe 55 to 85 millivolt. After she comes out, she get out of the pad, she's putting up like 240, 230 millivolt. That means now you have the same millivolt as an infant. That means this infant is growing. You need lots of millivolt for this cell to multiply. Now you push that back into a human, it charges you up. It takes all the fatigue out of you and make you, see things a lot clearer and a lot differently, because now you have the energy to be able to do so. And it does different things to people, and we have website that's been studied. Resonance can do a whole bunch of stuff to people. It's not just me saying it here. I'm just feeling the effect and explaining the effect. Then we find stuff that people has been working with that for a long time, curing all kinds of stuff with resonance. I'm not saying mine is curing anything, because my resonance is kind of in a stage of research. Those guys, they spend a lot of time perfecting the amount of resonance they were putting into an apparatus which you can actually deliver something and to help to focus just on one particular part of the bodies or the cell, whatever. I'm not there. I'm just trying to understand why Anaheim controller and Anaheim motor are so more powerful than other motor with the same three-phase motor, the same size motor, same weight and all that, and they're more powerful. When I had the Anaheim controller here, which I gave it to a friend of mine to work with, I was wondering why, when I thought it was radiation, soon you turn the Anaheim controller in, The whole room filled up with radiation when we thought it was radiation. It was resonance. Those guy feed the motor with resonance, probably were with an harmonic tone, and that's why the motor is so efficient and so powerful. Same thing with a little RC motor. Those small motor, right? Everybody was laughing at me about listening in a little tune when the controller go doo-doo-doo-doo right through the motor. Well, you idiot, it's because you're running that with RF. Those motors to be pushed by RF signal. You idiot. So you can put note into it and make that motor sing a song if you want. It's all depends you're going to put in your current. But that's why those motors are so powerful and they're so small, because they don't run on electricity, they run on RF, and they can push RF through a wire, because you can see that all the time. You know, your headphone, when you plug it in, it's RF coming a signal through the wire. It's that simple. But they always going to be the, you know, the cool cucumber out there who's got the brain the size of a pea, and he's going to come up with all kinds of proof and evidence I'm wrong. Well, bring your proof as evidence here in front of the camera, sitting beside me, and explain what is going on here. And I like to have someone who's got enough ball to come and knock on my door and say, I'm here with my instrument and we're going to test your stuff. But I'm not too afraid of that, because I don't see a whole lot of scientists with ball out there, because they're all paid by the government to say what the government says. They don't have the ball to say what they want, and they come and do what they want. But that's fine, you know. I'm still sitting here. I'm not going anywhere. I'm still going to do my research, and as much as I can for what I, you know, and when we can afford it, and we'll see what happens in the next couple of months. It's you know, that's the way it goes. But beside resonance, I don't think is a whole lot to look at. You know, if we cannot manipulate the resonance, we can manufacture or the natural resonance from the sun. We know we're on the wrong track. It will cost us a fortune to create energy. Like all the gizmos out there, they don't have a clue how it works, literally. You know. So on that note, I hope you will enjoy this little explanation, and I like to know how can you get something to spark on his own line. When that's impossible to happen. All right, I'll see you next. So you guys have a good one. Bye. That's me again. I just want to throw a little thing, because people asking me about working prototype and finish prototype, and I think people have a really bad understanding of the word prototype. I think prototype for me, when man was developing the first prototype of a weapon, it was a stick. They grab a stick and hit the other guy over the head with a stick. That became a weapon.
Working prototype.
That was a working prototype. It was just a stick he grabs out and hit the guy over the head. And then the other guy saw that and said, I'll make my weapon way more powerful. I will tie up a rock in the end of that stick, and I will hit him back, right? And then he ended up killing the other guy. That became, hey, that is a weapon. Then the spear came up and all that stuff. Those are the baby step toward a weapon. A simple object became a prototype. What I have over there is beyond prototype. Actually, it's a piece of instrument at this point in time to literally, it's a mini lab in your shop. You can create stuff no one understands in the beginning, but everyone's using it without the understanding. And to believe it, you know, when I say that unit could be a self-power, a lot of people have been telling that many times is over unity, and I didn't want to really go that way. But this little machine you got there is more than a prototype. It's maybe not a finished product, but it can actually give you the effect, and to be able to feel the effect and see the effect personally with that machine will make you understand what resonance is all about. That's the only way I came to understand resonance. And now I'm heading into very, very restricted field of information. It's very little out there about resonance. what's wrong with that? The picture. Why do we don't have a full understanding and reading and book accessible to people for resonance? Again, if you control resonance, you control the world. The government has been doing it for a long time. They brought you power to your life, to your house, right? Well, now you're like a crackhead. You can't disconnect from the grid because you're addicted. With no power, you die, or you will live back into the Stone Age.
So you've had a lot of people contact you, though, saying, we want to, like, a lot of people have contacted you, a surprising amount. And
I know.
They want a working prototype.
They want a working prototype. Well, I mean, because people don't have a clue. First thing, they don't understand what over unity is. Over unity is calculation of volume. They don't understand what a prototype is. A prototype is anything you try to do some different work with an object it's never been used for. It became a prototype. You know, I mean, I use a 2x4 for lifting, you know, my car with a block because I don't have a jack. So, I'm making a leverage prototype jack. It's that simple. You don't have to be an engineer with, with 20 years university to come out with that. I mean, the caveman came out with a stick, right? So all we have to do is be a little bit smarter than the caveman, and we're good to go. We can figure things out, right? I mean, but Tesla did discover resonance, did discover he can do something. He did not invent alternative current, that was already invented by him, but he used the reference of the alternative current, which was Morse code, and he used that in his favor. So at that point in time, that's exactly why we don't have any information, because everything has been taken from him. I mean, he was working for the government. I mean, after he died, even his lab and office or in his bedroom got taken by the CIA, by the FBI, which they thought nothing was left there, but they just want to make sure after he died, there was nothing left behind. And so that's what is so hard. I mean, the government and involved with the government and U.S. government have all the information about Tesla because he was working for them for a long time. That's why he disappeared. We didn't hear him, from the time of the experiment went wrong, and England at what is that Warden Cliff, when he blew up the power plant 5 miles away. He came here. He had a bit of a pickle also here, and then he did a few experiments. He burned his lab, and boom, he's gone. We don't hear from him. He just literally disappeared. And as you know, his name was not put on Niagara Falls for the longest time. Why? Those are the questions you have to ask. If you have any common sense or a vision of a common sense in that brain you have, you would have those questions. Why the Tesla's name was not on the door of Niagara Falls when he's the one who designed it? It was somebody else's name was there. So it's all about lying and deception and stuff like that. So, but anyway, that's all I want to add to this video, just so in case I think I missed that and I wanted to put that on there. So, but just think about it for a minute. It makes sense. Common sense and logic never fail you. So you guys have a good time. Bye.